সো ডিয়ার স্টুডেন্টস, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আশা করি সবাই ভালো আছেন। আমাদের গত লেসন 10 এ আমরা অ্যাকচুয়ালি মেক অর বাই ডিসিশন এর ডিসকাশন করেছিলাম। সো ইন দিস লেসন in this chapter, actually chapter 6, so we'll discuss about some important aspects regarding the global operations management. And this chapter is associated with two lessons, lesson 11 and lesson 12. So I'm going to actually discuss both the lessons together. So in this chapter we have seven contents. First of all, we'll try to understand the concept of international operations management, then why international operations management is more complex compared to the domestic, then factors affecting location decision, about the factory setups, then we'll see the concept of international logistics and material management, and we'll find out the difference between the domestic and international material management, and the concept of international service operations, and finally the managing of productivity in international business. So let us go forward with the international operation management. International operation management. So operation management is the set of activities an organization uses to transform different kinds of inputs like material, labor, and so on into the final goods or services. So international operation management refers to the transformation related activities of an international firm. Figure 70.1 you are viewing in the slide illustrate the international operations management process. As shown, a firm's strategic context provides a necessary backdrops against which it develops and then manages into operations functions. Flowing directly from the strategic context in the question of standardized versus customized production. The positioning of a firms along this continuum in terms helps dictate the appropriate strategies and tactics for other parts of the operations management process. The next part of international operation management is the activities and processes connected with the acquisition of the resources the firms need to produce the goods or services it intends to sell. Location decisions where to build the factories and other facilities are also important. In addition, international operations managers are concerned with the logistics and materials management, the efficient movement of materials into, within, and out of the firms. Operation management is also closely linked with the quality, productivity, and information technology. A firm's operations management systems largely determines how inputs are transformed into the finished goods or services. Properly designed and managed operating systems and procedures play a major role in determining the product quality and productivity. For example, Zara is able to skews extra measures of productivity from its distribution centers because of its highly efficient and flexible design. Conversely, poorly designed operating systems are a major cause of poor quality and lower productivity. They promote inefficiency and can contribute in various ways to higher cost and suboptimal profit performance. Hence, we also describe productivity, quality, and information in this chapter as well. Complexities of international operations management. International operations management presents one of the most complex and challenging set of tasks managers face today. The basic complexities inherent in operation management system from the production problem itself, that is where and how to produce various goods and services. Operation managers typically must decide important and complex issues in three areas. Number one, resources. Manager must decide where and how to obtain the resources of the firms need to produce its products. Key decision relating to supply chain management and vertical integration. Secondly, location. Manager must decide where to build administrative facilities, sales offices and plants, how to design them, and so on. Thirdly, logistics. Managers must decide on modes of transportation and methods of inventory control. All firms, whether domestic or international, must address these issues. However, resolving them is far more complicated for international firms. A domestic manufacturer may deal with only one local supplier, be subject to one set of government regulations, compete in a relatively homogeneous market, have access to an integrated transportation network, and ship its goods relatively short distances. And international manufacturers, in contrast, is likely to deal with supplies from different countries, confront different government regulations wherever it does business, as well as heterogeneous market, disparate transportation facilities and network, and relatively long shipping distances. International operations managers must choose the countries in which to locate the production facilities, taking into account factors such as cost, tax law, resource availability, and marketing considerations. They also must consider potential exchange rate movements and non-economic factors such as government regulations, political risks, predictability of a country's legal system. Further, they must consider the impact of facilities locations on the firm's ability to respond to change in customers' taste and preferences. Finally, they must factor in logistical problems, just as long supply lines doomed Napoleon's invasion of Russia. Locating factories far from one suppliers may impede timely access to resources and materials. Factors affecting location decision. An international firm had chooses to make rather than buy imports faces another decision. Where should it locate its production facilities? In reaching a location decision, the firms must consider country-related issues, product-related issues, government policies, and organizational issues. So let us discuss in details these issues. First of all, country-related issues. Several features of countries can influence the decision about where to locate an international facility. Chief among these are resource availability and cost, infrastructure, and country of origin marketing effects. First of all, resource availability and cost constitute a primary determinant of whether an individual country is a suitable location for a facility is resource availability and cost constitute. As suggested by the classical trade theories and the Heckscher-Ohlin theory, countries that enjoy large, low-cost endowment of a factor of production will attract firms needing that factor of production. Second country-related issues is infrastructure. Infrastructure also affects the location of production facilities. Most facilities require at least some minimal level of infrastructural support. To build a facility requires construction materials and equipment as well as material supplies and construction contractors. More important, electrical, water, transportation, telephone, and other services are necessary to use the facility productively. In addition, access to medical care, education, adequate housing, entertainment, and other related services are almost certain to be important for the employees and managers who will work at the facility as well as for their families. Third country-related issues is country of origin. Country of origin effects also may play a role in locating a facility. Certain countries have brand images that affect product marketing. For example, Japan has a reputation of manufacturing high-quality products, whereas Italy often is credited with the stylishly designed product. In one interesting experiment, researchers found that consumer preference for Timex watches fell by only 6% when interviews were told the watches are made in Pakistan rather than Germany. The second fault is product-related issues. The product-related characteristics also may influence the location decision. Among the more important of these are the product value to weight ratio and required production technology. So the first is that product value to weight ratio. It affects the importance of transportation cost in the product's delivered price. Goods with the low value to weight ratio such as iron ore, cement, coal, bulk chemicals and raw sugars and other agricultural goods tend to be produced in multiple locations to minimize transportation cost. Conversely, goods with the high value to weight ratios such as microprocessors or diamonds can be produced in a single location or handful of locations without loss of competitiveness. The second product related issues is the production technology. The production technology used to manufacture the goods also may affect the facility location. A firm must compare its expected product sales with the efficient size of a facility in the industry. If a firm's sales are large related to the efficient size facility, the firm is likely to operate many facilities in various locations. The third product related issues is the relative importance of customer feedback. The relative importance of customer feedback also may influence the location decision. Products for which firms desire quick customer feedback open and produce close to the point of final sales. Now, the third fold of issues is the government policies. Government policies also may play a role in the location decision. Especially important are the stability of the political process, national trade policies, economic development incentives, and existence of the foreign trade zones. So, the first government policy related issue is the stability of the political process. The stability of the political process within a country can clearly affect the desirability of locating a factory there. Firms like to know what the rules of the game are so they can make a knowledgeable investment, production, and staffing decision. A government that alters fiscal, monetary, and regulatory policy seemingly on whim and without consulting the business community raises the risks and uncertainty of operating in the country. Unforeseen changes in taxation policy, exchange rate, inflation, and labor laws are particularly troublesome of international firms. The second government policy related issues is national trade policies. The national trade policies also may affect the location decision. To serve its customers, a firm may be forced to locate a facility within a country that has high tariff walls and other trade barriers. The third government policies related issue is economic development incentive. Economic development incentives may influence the location decision. Communities eager to create jobs and add to the local tax base often seek to attract the new factories by offering international firms inexpensive land, highway improvements, job training programs, and discounted water and electric rates. And the final government policies related issue is that existence of a foreign trade zones. An international firm may also choose a site based on the existence of a foreign trade zone. And foreign trade zone is a specially designated and controlled geographical area in which imported or exported goods receives preferential tariff treatments. A country may establish foreign trade zones near its major ports of entry or major production counters like our Chittagong Export Processing Zone (CEPZ) and Karnofuli Export Processing Zone or KEPZ near to Port of Chittagong, Seaport of Chittagong. It then allows international firms to import products into those zones duty-free for specified purposes, sometimes with express limitation. For example, there may be limitation on the types and value of product allowed and on the kind of work that may be performed. Fourth fault of factor or issues affecting the location decision is that organizational issues. An international firm's business strategy and its organizational structure also may affect the location decision. Inventory management policies are important considerations as well. A first organizational issue is firm's business strategy. A firm's business strategy may affect its location decisions in various ways. A firm that adopts a cost leadership strategy must seek out low-cost locations, whereas a firm that focuses on product quality or differentiation strategy must locate facilities in areas that have adequate skilled labor and managerial talent. The second organizational issue is firm's organizational structure. A firm's organizational structure also influences the location of its factories. For example, adaptation of a global area structure decentralizes authority to area managers. These managers, seeking to maintain control over their area, are likely to favor locating factories within their area to produce goods sold within that area. And third organizational issue is a firm's inventory management policies. A firm's inventory management policies are also affected by plant location decisions. Inventory management is a complex task all operation managers must confront. They must balance the cost of maintaining inventory against the cost of running out of materials or finished goods. The cost of maintaining inventory includes those associated with storage, operating a warehouse, for example, spoilages and losses. Some stored inventory gets ruined, damaged, or stolen, and opportunity cost and investment in inventory cannot be put to other business users. So these are the issues we have to consider while deciding about the location for factory setup. International logistics and material management. Regardless of the location of an international firm's factories, its operations management must address issues of international logistics. International logistics is the management of the flow of materials, parts, supplies and other resources from suppliers to the firm, the flow of materials, parts, supplies and other resources within and between units of the firm itself, and the flow of finished goods, services and goods from the firms to customers. The first two sets of activities usually are called the material management, and the third set, open, is called the physical distribution, or more simply distribution. The role of logistics is particularly important for firms that have developed integrated but geographically dispersed manufacturing and distribution networks, where parts may be made in one country for assembly, in second country for sale, and in a third country. Difference between domestic and international material management. Three basic factors differentiate domestic and international material management functions. The number one, the first is simply the distance involved in shipping. Shipments within even the largest country seldom travels from more than a couple of thousand miles, and may shipments travel much less. The second basic difference between domestic and international material management functions is the sheer number of transport modes that are likely to be involved in international transportation management. Shipments within the same country often use only a single mode of transportation, such as truck or rail. However, shipments that cross national boundaries, and especially shipments traveling great distance, almost certainly involve multiple modes of transportations, like sea transportations, like railway transportation, even sometimes the air transportations. Third, the regulatory context for international material management is much more complex than for the domestic material management. Most countries regulate many aspects of their internal transportation systems, price, safety, packaging, and so on. Shipments that cross through several countries are subject to the regulations of each of those countries. International service operations. The service sector has emerged in recent years as an increasingly important part of the many national economies, especially those of developed countries. For example, the service sector accounts for almost three-fourths of the US gross domestic product or GDP and is the sources of most new United States jobs. It therefore should come as no surprise that services are becoming a more integral part of international trade and of the global economy. An international service business is a firm that transforms resources into an intangible output that creates utility for its customers. There is a few characteristics of international services. Services have several unique characteristics that creates special challenges for firms that want to sell services in the international marketplace. In particular, service often are intangible, are not storable, require customer participation, and may be linked with the tangible goods. The first characteristic is services are intangible. A consumer who goes to the store and buy an Apple iPad has a tangible product, one that can be held, manipulated, used, stored, damaged, or returned. A consumer who goes to an accountant to obtain the financial advice lives with the tangible knowledge that cannot be held or seen. The piece of paper or electronic documentation sometimes associated with service like tax statements, insurance policies, and so on, although tangible themselves, are actually just symbols or representations of the service product itself. Because of the intangibility, assessing a service value or quality often is more difficult than assessing the value of quality of a goods. Second characteristic is service generally are not storable. Often they cannot be created ahead of time and inventoried or saved for future uses. A service call to repair a broken washing machine can occur only when the technician is physically transported to its site of the broken appliance and is wasted if no one is home to unlock the door. An empty airline seat, an unused table in a restaurant, and an unsold newspaper all lose their economic value as soon as their associated window of opportunity closes. That is, after the plane after the plane takes off, the restaurant kitchen closes, the next day newspaper is printed. The high degree of perishability of services makes capacity planning a critical problem for all service providers. Capacity planning is deciding how many customers a firm will be able to serve at a given time. Failure to provide sufficient capacity often means permanently lost sales, whereas provisions of too much capacity raises the firm's cost and lowers its profit. The third characteristic is service often required customer participation. International services such as tourism cannot occur without the physical presence of the customer. Because of customer involvement in the delivery of the service, many service providers need to customize the product to meet the purchaser's need. And the final last characteristics or fourth characteristics, many services are tied to the purchase of other product. Many firms offer product support services assistant with the operating, maintaining or repairing products for customers. Such services may be critical to the sales of the related product. Managing productivity in international business. A key consideration in operations management for many international firms is productivity. At its simplest level, productivity is an economic measure of efficiency that summarizes the value of outputs relative to the value of the inputs used to create the outputs. Productivity is important for various reasons. For one thing, it helps determine a firm's overall success and contributes to its long-term survival. For another, productivity contributes directly to the overall standards of living within a particular country. If the firms within a country are especially productive, the country's citizens will have more productive products and services to consume. Moreover, the firm's goods and services can be exported to other countries, thereby bringing additional revenues back into the country of origin. Each of these factors positively impacts gross domestic product and thus benefits the whole country. Regardless of where a firm operates, one of its fundamental goals must be to continue to enhance its productivity. There are several general strategies a firm can pursue in its efforts to maintain or boost productivity. Three approaches in particular often help the firms become more productive. Number one, spend more research and development. So if a firm spend more on research and development, it will able to improve the quality features of their product, will be able to modify their existing product, will be able to develop the new product, as well as will be able to improve the existing process of producing goods and services to make the process more efficient. The second approach is improve operations. So there are different types of operations or activities we perform throughout the supply chain. The value chain of the organizations, from collecting the raw materials to collecting the feedbacks from the customer after deliver the goods or services. So every operations every operation has its own system and subsystem. So to improve the productivity of the organization, the management should give the concentration on improving the operations of the value chain activities of their organization. And finally, increase employee involvement. So if you involve your employees in the managerial decision making or in the decision making of the particular activity, in such cases employee will own the activity and will perform the activity in a better way, which will improve the productivity of the organization. So if you have any question regarding this chapter, regarding these lessons, you can submit the question through the email at shumon@southern.edu.bd or WhatsApp or message at 08172704456, or you can send a message to my Facebook Messenger account, that is the Mojumdar Shumon. So thank you very much. Uh, Stay home, stay safe in this situation. Thank you very much.